Good afternoon, everyone. So this is no one actually hit Hot Take Plus for this. This is I'm doing this on my own back on a subject of my own choosing. So this is going to get ranty, not so much sarcasm. So today we're talking about game development companies who are axing their employees because I massively respect game developers. Without them, we wouldn't have the games that we play, and especially I especially am for like indie developers and things like that, and smaller development companies, because honestly, quite a lot of the games that are released by the big companies are pretty crap, or have some issues, or loaded with microtransactions. They're basically a platform to get you to part with as much money as physically possible. It's like there's no passion in it, and I feel that's because they set such pressure on their developers, that like, oh, we need a game like this out. We need this out now. We need it like this, like that. And I feel like the developers probably don't get the creativity allowance that they need to really make a masterpiece. And when I think of them laying off developers, I'm thinking, well, actually, this is really not a good move for these big companies. Like, I'm talking EA, Microsoft, and there was another that I think Studio London by Sony as well, and so all these developers getting laid off, and I'm thinking, well, this is actually for a business decision. This is actually a pretty bad decision as well, because okay, they're losing less money on salaries, but developers are not going to stop being developers. Like, maybe one or two will go and find other jobs elsewhere, but developers will still be developers. So if they're not working for you, they're probably going to be working for a rival, or some might even go indie. Some might form like smaller companies. And the gaming industry is a very busy market right now, and there is a lot of competition. For every game you release, every other game out there is your competitor, because players can only play one game at any one instant of time. So we have to pick and choose. Like, I remember back in the day when I used to play WoW, and there was like so many people that they used to play WoW because, like, okay, I mean, we're gonna do this with our time. But then more alternatives come along that are like similar, and suddenly the player base drops, because I mean the quality's not there, but also there's alternatives. There's a lot of alternatives. So, and a lot of these games which suck up hundreds of hours tend to be by small studios. I'm not saying indie games do this, but small studios do this. Indie games in themselves are quite impactful in the gaming industry as well, because there's a lot of good ones. And here's what I would do if I'm EA, for instance, and I'm looking, okay, we need to make more money. We need to cut less losses, and but we've got this bunch of developers, and our schedule and our timeline don't meet up. You know what I would do? I would say, I would go to those developers, say, okay, we can't continue your project, but we're going to let you come up with a new project without a timeline. We're not going to tell you how to make the game. We're not going to tell you how that game is supposed to be. Pick your own team. And basically, instead of letting them go off and be indie developers or join smaller development companies, instead have that in-house. Like, give them the freedom while still being part of EA. Then you can release a game. Maybe it's not the normal EA thing, for instance. I'm using EA as an example. This works for Microsoft as well. And then they release something. Maybe you have like a subsidiary company for like the indie stuff that comes out from you, and that way you make money off those hits as well, because it's got the branding that's probably going to bring in like more players, and you don't have to make a huge return off this. The key thing is, these are not going to be like competitors, because you're still making money off them, because it's still the same company. But I tell you, I really don't understand. I don't understand why they lay off developers. But maybe in the short term the developers are worse off, but maybe in the long term they may be better without companies like EA. Maybe they're better with game companies that actually treat them better or let them be creative. Anyway, rant over.